Good morning. It's that time again. It's Friday, so I thought I would come live like I'm starting to do and just talk about something for a few minutes. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Bronwyn Jane and I'm a psychic medium. I am grounded and compassionate, and I love to connect those with open hearts to spirit. So whether that be through readings or even teaching. So today I thought we'd talk about a really common question that I get asked is, can you lose your connection to spirit? It's quite a interesting question. And the reason why I feel it's interesting is when we explore what our connection to spirit is. So that's a soul to soul connection. So considering that, we therefore can't lose our connection to spirit. But what can happen is that intensity or that frequency or even how much we feel it, see it, hear it, that's what can change, as spirit may try and work with us to enhance our connection. Now, as I said, for me, it's a soul to soul connection. So as one soul to another, I know that we can communicate. But what shifts is how that communication occurs. So, and I'm going to talk through some examples. What I know from experience, what I have witnessed, is that if we don't honor our connection, that's where things can get a bit murky. That's where things can change for us. Thanks for joining, those that are watching. Sorry, I don't always see the likes and the highs and all that type of thing once I get in my zone of rabbiting on. So thank you. And if I miss your hello, know that it's not intentional. So back to what I was talking about. So that soul to soul connection for me doesn't end, but it changes. So if you maybe are not honoring your connection, maybe your ethics is not where it needs to be, maybe you're using your connection in a way that you shouldn't, that's when things can shift. I've noticed that when I've been observing. So what I ask you to consider is, if you are noticing a shift with your connection, what is actually changing within you? How are you using your connection? What are your purposes for your connection? And how are you just traveling energetically as well? Are you checking in with your own soul? How's that going for you? Are you making time for that? Are you sitting there hand on heart and just asking, how am I traveling? How do I feel? What's going on for me? Why am I showing up a particular way? Why am I responding a particular way? We need to connect to our own soul before we can connect to others. So how's that going for you? Then we need to look at, how are we using our connection? What are we doing with it? Are we honoring it? Are we working with it? Are we maybe, using it for good? That type of thing. Are we using it to take advantage of others? So let's just explore what we're using our connection for. Our vibration also impacts our connection. So, and this is why it's great to check in with how you're traveling, what you're doing, what are your behaviors, because that will impact your connection. It is energy, like attracts like. So depending on where you're traveling, what your frequency is like, will determine on what you're connecting with as well. If you want to connect with spirit or angels or any of those higher realms, you need to consider your own energy. What's that like? Are you partaking in activities that are maybe of a lower frequency? Gossiping, that type of thing. Consider those type of activities, because your frequency will impact your connection. Also, fear. If you are frightened to connect with spirit, whatever that looks like, that will impact your connection. They want the best for you, They don't want to scare you. They want to support you and nurture you and guide you on your journey. That's what they want for you. Now, sometimes when we're not used to working with spirit and we feel something that feels different, we can interpret that as a negative encounter, but really it's not. It could be just that it feels different for you. So that's why it's great to work with spirit, to sit in that meditative state, that practice of building connection and relationship, to know that that feeling different, what feels different, does not equate to scary, does not equate to something that you have to be frightened of. So consider what you're frightened of. Consider where that fear presents for you. Or sometimes it's even that fear of being accurate. That fear of, I actually am interpreting this information correctly, and what does that mean for me because I'm doing that? What changes and shifts in my world because this is now a reality and I can interpret it accurately? And that can actually be scary sometimes, because that shift and change can be a lot. So sometimes the fear comes from that as well. But once again, we go back to what is Spirit's intention: to support, guide us, and lead us on our path with an energy and intention of wanting the best for us. So that's a very long answer for a very short question: is, can I lose my connection from Spirit? So I say this: if your intention is pure, if you're using your connection for the best for everyone involved, so for your highest good and the highest good of everyone involved, you're not coming from fear, you're embracing it, then you shouldn't lose your connection, particularly if you are connected with your own soul and how you're traveling, and you're aware of your own energy and what you're doing. So maintain your frequency. Consider why you're connecting and work with it, and your connection will maintain. And the more you work with it, the more it grows, the stronger it becomes. So I hope that answers that question. It is a very detailed question that we could go down a rabbit hole and talk about for a very long time, because there is a lot to it. So the short answer is, if you honor it, you'll be okay. And if you don't honor your connection, then it will change. So honor the gift that you are given, that you are a being of energy having a human life, and embrace that. And don't be frightened, because it is so magical, and it is such a wonderful gift that we are given when we are open to accepting it. So I want to wish you well, whatever you are doing for the weekend. And thank you for spending a few minutes with me, exploring this topic with me, and just getting to feel who I am and what my energy is about. So on that note, I just want to thank you again. And I look forward to connecting with you possibly next week. I'm trying to do these on a frequent basis, and I'm trying to commit to that. So that's the goal. So here's hoping. All right. So on that note, have a great day. Talk to you later. See you on the page or wherever we encounter each other.